Good morning, campers. Starting this video off right today, and hopefully I don't slip and fall on this ice I'm walking on, but we are out in nature already at Bandelier National Monument. We are super excited to show you today what the monument has to offer, but we're actually going to explore on 2 different days because the monument is split up into like 3 different sections. Today we are at the most popular section, and if you've been following along, you know New Mexico, full of amazing outdoor scenery and Native American history, and this should be no exception to that.
So this hike that we are on actually combines several popular trails here in the National Monument. So we are combining the Pueblo Loop Trail, the Alcove House Trail, and then we will actually go past the Alcove House into the canyon and hopefully see the Narrows section there. So our plan is to really see, like the beautiful nature here of the National Monument and combine it with these amazing ancient American dwellings here. Gonna lie, that was freaking terrifying. Like, that ladder is like slightly tilted, and then obviously it's really long, and you just don't think too much about what would happen if you like slipped or fell. I was actually like a little paralyzed.
Okay, bad idea 5000, film while going up a ladder. It's not too bad. Pretty easy. This one's not as vertical as the other ones. Ooh, that metal's cold.
Alright, so let's check out what this Alcove House is all about. Nice little penthouse view here of the New Mexico cliffside.
So this is the Alcove House. Now, if you've been following along, you know that we went and saw the Chaco culture area, and that is the oldest of the Native American ruins that we saw. And then they moved up to the Aztec ruins area there. But now this area was inhabited as late as 1500. Now, they believe the Puebloan people here left because of various economic / natural causes, maybe a drought or things like that, and they left to go inhabit better areas. But it is incredibly well preserved, and it is a super neat place to be. All right, Senta, are you ready for the fun part?
We'll see, right? I mean, my advice, just don't look down. Footholds here. Oh, alrighty. first one was kind of easy because that was the short one, but not gonna lie, this one I'm kind of terrified. And unfortunately you do have to look down. I might start crying.
Almost there.
Now I got it. So this middle one is by far the most terrifying one because it kind of leans like slightly outwards to the cliff. And I don't know if you saw it on the video, but my legs were shaking. And then like some of the rods are like a little bit thicker, so I can't get my hands around them like all the way. So it feels like I don't have a secure grip. So yeah, it's not for the faint of hearts. Like, I think this is really terrifying. So just keep that in mind. If you go up, you gotta come down the same way. Survive the ladders of death onto Frijoles Canyon. Alright, so another creek crossing, but this one is a little tricky because there is a giant slab of ice right here. And we tried stepping on it, doesn't sound too good. So I think we have to jump, and I'm a little bit terrified that I'm gonna miss. So y'all are gonna see how that's gonna go here. Do it, I think.
It's not that far, you can easily do it. Oh, wow. Holy smokes, guys.
So what do you think?
It's amazing. I mean, you come into the narrow section, which is only 4 miles from the visitor center, to about 2 miles past the Alcove House, and you enter through that archway, which just sets it off on a high note, and it just doesn't get any worse than that. It just stays on that high note. You've got the sheer cliffs, they're super smooth at the top. Down low, you can see some more like cracks and layers of what probably is like ash flow from the volcanic activity here. You've got snow on the ground this time of year, which is even more magical. You cross the creek a dozen plus times. It is just really cool and worth the hike up here.
Lunchtime for us, so we're eating some tuna sandwiches, and then we're gonna make our way back to finish up this hike on the Pueblo Loop Trail and see a few more ancient dwellings and artifacts. back at the Alcove House and a few more people there. I'm glad that we did it without anyone around because otherwise that would have been so scary. Okay, so this up there is actually a kiva, which is a spiritual and like a gathering place. And we had already learned that when we went to Aztec ruins in Farmington. And it is just so cool to like, connect the dots, like learning something in one video and then like coming here and seeing it here. The sad thing about this kiva here is, as you could see, you're kind of like, caged in. The reason for that is because people didn't respect like that this is a sacred place, and they actually carved their names and like had some graffiti in there. So this is what happens if we do not respect the places, but very honored that we at the very least can see it like this. Almost to the end of the Pueblo Loop Trail, and wow, what a highlight. This is a must-do when you come here to the National Monument because you see so many ancient cliff dwellings. You get right like onto it. There are ladders, you can go into them. There is like these like sweeping staircases, which is a ton of fun to go up and down. You see pictographs, you see petroglyphs. You see a reconstructed talus house, the ruins of like the Pueblo, which was, well, it looks like Tyuonyi, but it is pronounced, Eric? Tyuonyi. Hopefully I got that right. But it is such a cool trail, really short, and it ends right at the visitor center, which you definitely also should check out because they have a museum there. And you can see actually Native American artwork there, photographs. You can learn about the area here of like the different landscapes, the animals that are residing in the area. You get like history lessons and everything. It is really well done. So highly, highly recommend.
All right, what an amazing start to the day. We're not finished yet. We are going to be heading over to an overlook trail. There is also the Falls Trail here, which looks really, really nice, but we figured we've done enough big hiking, so we're going to do a little bit of an easier route. But if you come here, just to take care of a few housekeeping items for you here. you're going to have to pay a $25 entry fee unless you have an America the Beautiful pass, then it is free. There are no dogs allowed on trail. It is open from dawn till dusk, and they definitely adhere to that. We got there right before right after they opened up on the trail. We saw the ranger that had just opened up, so they definitely take that seriously. And there's also other amenities here at the visitor center. There's a cafe and a shop. The cafe looks really good. We didn't eat, so we can't tell you how good the food is, but it looks pretty nice.
Cool, so they lived up here. And earlier actually we learned that they were farming up here too, mainly corn. Really awesome overlook. I'm very happy that we did this. It's like an easy 1 mile walk from the trailhead, and totally worth it. It's awesome that we were down there earlier and now we get to see it from up top, so we can see the freight trail that is kind of like winding through the cliffs, and then we can see the ruins of the Pueblo, which is awesome. And yeah, I overall really loved our day today. So excited for tomorrow when we're exploring 2 new areas of Bandelier. First we're gonna go to the Tsankawi village, and that area is on the other side of Los Alamos. And then after that we're gonna go a little bit further up into the forest and the mountains, and we're gonna hike up a mountain, and that's gonna be at about 10,000 feet, so that should be pretty cool. Made it to the Tsankawi Unit of Bandelier National Monument, and there's just one trail here. It's about a 1.7 mile loop, and it's gonna lead us to some ancient ruins.
Yeah, and if the other section of Bandelier was any indication, the ruins are going to be really, really good.
I think so too. Look how the water eroded all of these pathways.
So some fortunate and unfortunate things about our hike today. So unfortunately, trail closures. We cannot get to the Pueblo and see some of that ancient Native American history that we were very much looking forward to, especially after yesterday's adventures, which were spectacular. But fortunately, the hike is beautiful anyways. You have the mountains in the background, and then you have the steep, sheer canyon walls that you're hiking right amongst, so it's definitely super cool anyways. As you can see out the window here, we are definitely gaining some elevation. So we are getting to the third of the 3 different sections of the National Monument for the Cerro Grande Trail. It could be a nice like 4-miler, decent amount of elevation and some beautiful sights. But to get there, you're gonna have to go through Los Alamos, at least if you're coming from like the Santa Fe area anyways. And Los Alamos is very famous for one of the development sites of the atomic bomb. But there's some controversy to it, as once we decided to start developing the atomic technology there, we did cut off Native Americans from some of their tribal lands. So it's kind of a controversy then, and still an ongoing controversy today.
Made it to the top of Cerro Grande, and a big hill it is.
Yeah, it is almost 10,200 feet, and that makes for a steep climb up in a short distance, about 1,250 feet in about 2 miles. And it is also muddy, at least in the winter time, and I would assume early spring as well. So bring boots.
Yes, but it is the highest point in Bandelier National Monument, and with that you get 360-degree views of the entire area. You can look all the way into like Los Alamos, ski Santa Fe. On the other side you can see Valles Caldera National Preserve, and you can look into the giant caldera. It is absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah, it is amazing. So definitely a great place to end our video, on a high point. But in ending it, what would you say, what would you give our viewers for tips to visit if they wanted to come see Bandelier National Monument?
So all 3 areas of Bandelier National Monument are absolutely worthwhile visiting. And if you have 2 days to visit, I would absolutely recommend to do everything that we have done. However, if you only have 1 day, I think like if you need a more condensed itinerary, personally, I would start at the visitor center of the main area. Opens at 9 a.m., so keep that in mind. Go through the museum, learn about the history and the culture and take your time there, and then most definitely go on the Pueblo Loop Trail. It is only a 2-mile hike, but you could spend hours there exploring.
Absolutely. Those ruins are super intricate. You can get right up on them in a lot of places with ladders going into some of those small little kivas. So it's super interesting. And then I would say if you have time and you are capable and you're not afraid of heights, go up to the Alcove House too.
Yes, it is really beautiful. Like, the views are gorgeous. The ladders are fun to a certain degree, but it's only worth it if you actually are going to climb up. And then I would say end your day actually up here. So go and drive up and do the Cerro Grande route, because it is absolutely gorgeous. It is so beautiful here, and it just gives you a completely different perspective of the entire area.
Absolutely. But that is going to do it for today's video. So we will see you guys next time. But before you go, do us a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and that bell for all the notifications and updates on our upcoming videos.
We'll see you next time.
Next time.